Hey, Amulet D20, it's Mass again for BonkTable. We're going over Matiz list to the papamobile. Fuck yeah. I haven't even looked at this list yet. This thing better have a couple supplicators or Thorkeeters in there. At least one of them has to be in there. But we have an Archimandrite Warlord whose supremacy is the double cast. This is actually pretty good of getting some damage out there and also healing units around him. There were times where people were like, this is the best supremacy. It's like, this supremacy is not very good. And it's kind of gone back and forth. I think it matters more for what you're playing and what you're using it for. You can get a bunch out of it, what I quite like. One of the other things is to make the Thorkeeter the Warlord. So he has the double cast himself. It's harder to shut that guy down while the Archimandrite, who's probably going to be in one of these unit of Legionaries. Yeah, he's got 2 Legionaries. Legionaries kind of die a lot quicker than a Thorkeeter. So there's that. For his upgrades, he's got the sermon. Got the semen of the. He's got the sermon of the Legion. Oh god, that's not being edited out. This regiment, the character's statue gains untouchable. What is reroll defense rolls a 6? So he's trying to keep that guy, the legionary unit that he's in, alive a little longer. There's only 3 stands each. My correction, I didn't realize that he had the Praetorian Guard. He is for sure 100% sitting in the Praetorian Guard at this point. Bastion 5 rerolling 6s is going to be absolutely nonsense. You traditionally see a Ziliarch or a Strategos in the Praetorian Guard, so seeing an Archimandrite there just means that it's going to be hard to carve out the caster, but I don't think the combat output is going to be enough for the Praetorian Guards to fight their way out if they get stuck in. Yes, they will have the damage spell of Unholy Baptism to do AP 1 hits, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to really fight their way out. This is for sure going to be an Anvil regiment. What is fine, he does also have the upgrade of where is it? Devote to Hazil, so he can reroll 6s on his spell casting. So this guy's mainly, and he's the Warlord, so yeah, he is mainly going to be sitting in that Praetorian Guard block, healing it, and then also casting Unholy Baptism to do damage, and just get it stuck into combat and grind out with an opponent. That's kind of obvious, the idea there. That's a-okay and fine. I like what he's doing something different, and he has a strategy there right off the bat. He's got his 2 Legionaries to kind of seize zones, run up the table, do whatever they need to do, sacrifice to be Dark Power. He's got 1 unit of Morai. They're fine. They're basically waiting around to tier 2 so they can use Translocation and then get into all those weird clashes with, clash 2, 6 attacks with cleave 1, some Aura of Death, they lose formation. They're just annoying to deal with, and they are quite quick once they get to tier 2, so he's going to be probably holding them in reserve until that moment. And when that does happen, he's going to get a lot of work. We next warband is the Hero Deacon. It says warband 3, so something was built weird. Or he just did whatever. Anyway, Hero Deacon, once again, generating your Dark Power pool. He's an Occultist with Busupaloi. Busupaloi, MSU. Last time I think we talked about Busupaloi, they were in a 6-stand regiment, like a big brick. This one is an MSU, I think is the correct choice. They are durable enough to just be kind of a pain. And they have the offensive capability with their Cleave 3 to do a lot of work. Their only downside is that they are 4 attacks each. But they should be able to get in there and do some damage. This is a good heavy to be using. And the only other heavy I think in this list is the Thorkeeter right here. What is fine between the two, because you want the Thorkeeter on turn 3, Busupaloi coming on turn 4 is a-okay. The Hero Deacon sitting in unit Cultist, he's probably killing a unit of Legionnaires, and then the Archimandrite, until he gets stuck into combat, is healing a stand back, so they can generate that Dark Power as needed. Last, we get into the Thorkeeter. It's good. It's the papamobile, or as Matiz says, the papamobile. I've described this thing before, and sometimes the difficulty of going over units over and over and over again, because people hopefully are taking their best things they have to a tournament, especially the one size as Amulet D20, that they should be playing things really well. So, once again, just to reiterate for everybody, maybe you're coming into this at a different point or whatever, or maybe you're waiting for Matiz's list because you're his friend and you want to support him and everything. What I fully agree that you should do. The Thorkeeter is a big pile of wounds, but has a wide variety of ways to deal damage. It cannot see zones, but it can contest them. So what you do is you kind of ram this thing up a flank or down the middle, supported by some stuff, get your opponent stuck on it, and then have the rest of your army collapse on it and deal a ton of damage. That's what it's trying to do. So far, the things that are going to be doing the damage are the Brucepaloi and the Morai. Legionaries are there going to be stall and sacrifice for dark power. It's also taken another unit of Legionaries with the Optio to like Vanguard up the table. So it's A-okay. You want a unit of Legionaries to kind of follow behind it, just so that it can sit on its own and score it, because it will fight stuff off and take things. The only issue with the Thoraketer is you don't want it to be collapsed on and killed, and you don't want to overextend it. You want to have it beside your army, getting support that it needs to push forward, because it's going to be really tough to kill if it's just left supported. If it's by itself, your opponent can collapse on and kill it, so you got to be careful. Last warband, we have the Mounted Strategos with a ton of upgrades, so much so that I have to go back, open up a Mounted Strategos, and start reading through them so we have an idea what's happening. First upgrade is the Avaltine Armor that gives Tenacious 1 to his regiment. He's got 4 Cataphractoi, D3 with a shield with 4 wounds, Tenacious 1. Yep, that's good. We then have the Blade of Celestor. I've talked about this thing before. It gives +1 attack and cleave +1. Yep, that's good. When the Mounted Strategos gets into combat with his Class Range 7 attacks, that cleave 1 and that additional attack from 6 to 7 is just going to help him clear everything out so the Cataphracto can get back to doing what's best, what is march charging things to death. Impact 3 with Brutal 2 and Memory Result for shock and +1 impact. It just makes this thing as this entire regiment is a shock cav regiment. So that's really exciting. Lastly, his final upgrade is Eternal Discipline, which gives Untouchable to the regiment. What is rerolling defense roll to 6. So, like the Household Knights, D3 with a shield to D4 with rerolling 6s. Just kind of keeps everything alive, especially with Cataphracto who are not taking resolve damage. They are wound 4, so you do want to shoot them. Getting a little bit of armor piercing in there will help out a lot. And he has the upgrade for the Cataphractoi. So, the regiment, including the attached character, rerolls failed hit rolls when performing impact attacks. Yep, this is going to be your big hammer. March charge, keep it in the back to keep it safe. Movement 7 is a great speed for this thing. It's going to do a lot of work. They got their Hero Deacon Archimandrite Dark Power Generator to get his March Dark Power to get to tier 2 as soon as possible. They got Legionaries to sacrifice to hold off certain zones and flanks until they can push the Thoraketer. They have a couple different hammers and anvils. The Praetorian Guard, the Thoraketer are your anvils. The Brucepaloi, Cataphracti, and Morai are your hammers. So overall, I actually quite like how this list is panned out and what different upgrades and choices Matiz has taken. I think these all fit really nicely together. If played correctly, it should go really far in this tournament. 40 people, off the top of my head, should probably be about 5 rounds. And I think you'll have a definitive winner by that point. Maybe 6 rounds. Like I could see this list going like 4-1, 3-2, 3-2 on a bad day, 4-1 on a good day. On average, I would probably push it to that 4-1 spot, just because if played correctly, he has a lot of tools and he has a game plan that he can make work of. Some weaknesses. He's got 1, 2, 3 units of Legionaries. Yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't consider that a weakness. The Archimandrite and the Praetorian Guard. I think it's going to be too slow for its killing power. The Ziliarch and the Strategos are just better killers, while the Archimandrite is literally sitting there just to heal it. The Thoraketer might be able to heal them as well. I'd have to double check how its healing works and if it can be targeted by, the same healing spell twice. But there are things going on here for this list to do work. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What am I even counting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cards. 12 cards is pretty good, especially with the new changes to priority rolls. Yeah, I like it. I'd give this a stamp of seal approval. I'd like to see how it plays. I'm curious of how the Cataphracti perform. They look like they can kind of swap between Hammer and Anvil with their defensive stats and buffs, as well as their offensive stats and buffs. So, Matiz, hope you have a great time at Amulet D20. Hopefully you win a bunch of games, and I hope you do really well. Next list.